Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to another episode of 8-Bits version 3.3 here on May 16, 2014. I'm djWHEAT, joined by the other hosts of 8-Bits, itmeJP and Jeff Green, a.k.a. Greenspeak. Gentlemen, hello. How are you? What
the other host of 8-Speak. Or I can't even talk, man. I'm so tired. What am I doing?
Of 8-Speak, like throwing it all out there.
I'm out, guys. I'll see you later.
I blame me for the intro as well, JP. You know, Friday morning, it's like, yeah, the weekend's coming. I don't quite have, I think, the coffee capacity that I need for Friday mornings. I need to, like, really wake up earlier, get a couple more cups in the tummy, and I'll always be more ready for 8-Bits.
Yeah. I tweeted last night. I have this stupid fucking I think it's my lizard brain. I wake up Thursday morning and I do all my role play shows. I do like 7 or 8 hours of role play every Thursday. Then around like 1 o'clock, I'm like decompressing and I'm like, I should watch a TV show. This is a great idea. And then I watch a TV show for like 6 or 7 hours straight of just like some bullshit drama where they do like some lame cliffhanger. Like, well, let's go to the next one.
Gotta go to the next one.
And I'm up till like 5 or 6 a.m. and I'm just like, shit, I did it again. It's time to go to sleep. And I wake up about 10 minutes before the show. Somehow my hair still looks half decent on a shitty looking webcam. And I throw on a shirt. And then I tell Wheat one word. I just go coffee and I walk off.
Yep, that was pretty much it.
And show up about 5 minutes to show.
Well, you look in fine form.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have to agree. My morning was much different. Mine's like wake up at wake up at, you know, probably 6:45. Found out that my best friend, one of my best friends, had her baby last night. After like they told us yesterday morning at 6:30 that they were going in, and then we heard nothing all day, and we were like, yo, you can't do that. Like, is there something wrong? Is everything okay? And then at like 6:30 in the morning, we finally get a text. They're like, yo, we're leaving. They had the I mean, she went to one of these, you know, I don't know. It's like a specialty birthing place. She's crazy like that. And where they just go in. What are they? The maid, the
housewife?
Maid, bed maid.
No.
She had a bed maid delivered?
Like went to some place. A doctor was there. Yeah. It was like midwife. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. And like, Judge showed me the picture. I'm like, yo, man, that baby is in the baby's not named yet, so it's just that baby. That baby is in a car seat. Like they just had her less than 24 hours ago, and they're like out of there, which is like crazy to me.
That's kind of nuts. Yeah.
To me, that was the most bizarre thing about. I mean, my daughter is older now. In fact, she just came back from college last night. But I still remember after she was born. She was born at like 2 in the morning, and in the morning, you know, the hospital, and it took place in a hospital. But they were like, "See ya."
Yeah.
And we were walking to the car with our baby, going like, "Wait, like what?" Like, we don't have to pass a test or anything. Like, we're not how do you know? We don't even know what to do. How do you know we know what to do? Because we don't know. It was the weirdest feeling.
And I think part of it had to do with the fact, like, Jen had a C-section, right? She went totally natural. So she just, like, beasts a baby out, and then it's like, peace, I'm going to go back, take care of my baby so I can get back to work. Like, anyway, so woke up, did that, got Mini-Wheat off to school, took a shower, been up for like 3 hours. Watched some Dota. I mean, did some emails. I feel like I've already had a productive day, gentlemen, so I'm happy to.
It's sort of nice when that happens.
That's
right?
the best.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best feeling in the world.
You guys,
I love waking up early, but I never wake up early.
The 8 to 10 for me is just like the most glorious. I get so much work done between 8 and 10. It's ridiculous. There's no one to bother me. Yep. Even like, because I work remotely too, so there's like never anyone. It's just sort of like I have 2 hours and nothing, and I love it. My favorite 2 hours of the day, probably.
Yeah, that's changed for me. I used to just be totally a night owl, and I would do all my work late at night. In fact, pretty much every single paper I ever wrote in college was done like the night before.
Yep.
When I worked in a magazine, I wrote most of my stuff the night before. But now with age, I just like I'm done at like 9 working. I mean, I'll stay up, but I can't think very well. But now if I get up early, I can just like power through a ton of stuff. Like by 10 in the morning, I feel like I've had a day. It feels really good. Then we can fuck around the rest of the day. So,
exactly. Of course, now I go to bed like an old man. I'm married, so it's like when my significant other goes to bed, like I usually go to bed. It's pretty rare. I don't know if that's like every married couple or stuff. But.
You know, I do that now, but I have to admit, and I do it now partially because I can't stay up as late. But I admit there were many, many years where, especially after our daughter was born, where like they would go to bed and then like my evening would begin.
Right.
You're like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
glowing in the dim lights of your Xbox and PS4.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, right. If she would like be up later than normal, I'd be like, aren't you getting tired?
Yeah.
I told my WoW guild I was going to be there any minute.
Anytime I end up staying up late, a new game comes out, whatever, it's like I'm doing this or that. I'm always still at 37 years old, like sneaking into bed. And if my wife's like, "When'd you come to bed last night?" I'm always like shaving an hour off because that way, if I look tired or complain or anything the next day, then immediately it's like, "But you are playing game." I'm like, no.
Right. Yeah, I'm not allowed to complain. But these days, I mean, we'll get to it later, but I'm still totally addicted to Hearthstone. And now, because it's on the iPad, I'm just playing in bed. And, so every once in a while, she'll like roll over and wake up, and it's like, "What time is it, Jeff?" Just don't look. It's my last game, I promise.
I just imagine you and Ben, you're like sitting there trying to like poke out the little ruby in the thing's eye and making all this fucking noise.
Like, hun, do you want to load the catapult this time?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that.
Oh, I'm sure I've done it to Chen. Be like, Chen, just shoot it at him one time. Show him we mean business.
I was wondering, does the opponent see you doing that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
But you know what, Jeff?
There'd be a rush to see who can hit all that shit
in
first.
my world, the opponent knows that I'm shooting it right at him. Like, I'm aiming for your eye, buddy.
Let me ask you a question while we're on it. And
sure.
I know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hijack with Hearthstone talk already.
No, go for it. Let's do it.
But I have a question. My question is, when you're playing someone, do you feel inside? Can you tell if they're angry or whatever? Can you sense a mood of your opponent?
I think so.
I do too. Yeah.
I really think so.
But I don't know if it's in my imagination.
It might just be a projection though. Like you might be projecting your own.
Yeah.
Like, if they play a card, you're probably just like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I swear to fucking God.
Right. Sometimes I feel like I was playing a match this morning. I was actually showing my daughter how to play. She hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, everything the guy was playing, I was destroying. And I felt like the second I would end my turn, he would immediately play a card, which made me feel like he was mad.
Yeah, he's like,
because he was playing so fast. Like that, right? So, which might not be true at all, but I felt like I was getting under his skin.
Guys, one of the I hate the whole "you mad, bro." Like I hate that so much. Hearthstone is the only game where I find myself going, "Oh, you so mad, bro." Like, just I don't know why, but it's just that game does it to me. I love to make my opponents mad. I love to say thanks and greet them when I'm destroying them.
I never thought about it, but when I play Hearthstone, I actually just talk shit to a screen and no one can hear me.
Basically, right?
Like, what does that say about me as a person? I'm just like, fuck you.
Oh, I do that too. I do that too. I do that all the time. Yeah. But I've been doing that in my gaming for forever. That's why my wife's always going like, "Are you actually even having fun?"
Yeah, that's true.
I am.
Yeah.
Shut
up, you don't know what's going on here. Just rage.
Like this damn frisbee.
Yeah. An asshole.
Well, let's jump into now playing. You're playing Hearthstone. You can't get enough, huh?
I'm playing Hearthstone. I can't get enough.
Do you play Arena or?
Yeah, I do play Arena, but I boycotted Arena for a while because I was doing so poor. I wasn't paying money, but I was saving up the 150 coins and then going in and then just getting my clock cleaned every time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use this money to buy packs and just get better cards and just get better at ranked. So I've been playing like 90 5% ranked. Occasionally, I'll play arena. I did arena the other day, and I got a paladin, which is my main basically. So I was thrilled, and then I just got like the most awesome deck. I was so thrilled with my arena deck. Like I was just drawing so many great cards, and once again, I think I won once.
Yeah.
So I'm just not that good at arena.
Well, arena's a strange beast in and of itself, Jeff. Because like I swear to God, I had a draft that was the most godly priest draft, and like as I'm sitting there making it, I'm like, dude. The only thing that's going to beat this thing is like a crazy charge warrior deck.
Yeah.
And guess what? 2 games in a row. Boom!
Yeah.
Charge. I'm like, what the fucking shit? And
I wonder if the algorithm knows that.
I don't know,
knows
man.
What the weakness
I always
of the
wonder
deck
that.
is.
then I have decks that I'm like, this is not going to do well. And it's just like card draws on my side. And it's just, I don't know. The game is mysterious. But, I mean, at
It
least
is very mysterious.
it's, I mean, the mindset of playing in an arena where, you know, guy could have 40 he can't have 40 fireballs, but he could have 5 fireballs or this, that. It is kind of interesting, and I feel like in some regards my thoughts have changed a little bit on the constructed side, because knowing those limitations, I think, lets you read decks a little bit better in a constructed sense than in a you know, in arena, it's more like, oh my God, I'm so surprised that he got those picks. You know, like how was I ever gonna guess that that's what he, you know, or she would have? So it's I have been playing more ranked, which is weird because I played only arena when I first started playing Hearthstone.
Really, that's all you played?
Yeah, I mean, even though I had a fair amount of cards, and I do. I don't know. Like it always seems like in constructed decks, you still have those games where it's like, okay, doing well, then like someone just kind of shits out a card that's like,
oh my God.
Yeah,
I got destroyed.
That luck, if he gets the luck of the draw in the arena, great. But if not,
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the latest ones that have been killing me, I think it's just like a deck that people are doing now, of these priest decks where, what are they doing? They're like, they play the card. I don't play priest, but the card where the health equals the attack equals the health, then they double the health. There's like a third move, so basically they've got like 30 attack in like, you know, with like 2 cards.
Yep. Like
fairly early on, and those decks are just like, okay, I'm dead. I did decide one thing recently though, which is like for a while I had been when I've seen that stuff coming, I've conceded.
What?
And lately, I've decided I'm never going to concede. I'm not ever going to concede again.
Something to think about. I mean, like, I really, at this point, like, only concede, I think, if I know in 1 or 2 turns I'm going to, or based off of what I'm holding, there's just no way. But, you know, one of the things that I find interesting, especially constructed, and especially because we have an influx of new players, is you really have to pace yourself when you play Hearthstone. And you can't just blow cards and then sit there on turn 5 with like 1 or 2 cards in your hands. You will be ineffective. So, you know, I see a lot of times like players that will just be like, blah, 12, 15 damage, and then have nothing. You know,
those are the matches that I usually know I'm going to win. Right. Because I'm just sitting there like, okay, go ahead and burn your sheep now, because I've got like 6 cards that are you're going to regret.
Exactly.
You're going to regret it.
That's exactly.
So I actually don't mind playing dudes who are over aggressive, unless it's one of those like, shadow priests or whatever that are just like impossible. But I decided to stop conceding because I've definitely won games in basically like the last second where it seemed like I had no chance. Often because of a mistake on their part or just a lucky card draw on mine. But also I don't want to. I feel like it's. I want them to actually have to win it.
Right. Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Earn that win.
Yesterday I had a funny match where it was ridiculous. Like I actually don't know how the algorithm works in terms of unranked, where if you get up to a certain level in the ranking, if it's matching you with anybody of that ranking or people, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm playing with a paladin. The paladin is like level 30 maybe, and in whatever play. And then I attain a certain rank in ranked play, and I'm wondering if I'm being matched against people who have similarly powerful heroes.
Are you talking about in arena or constructed?
No, in constructed. Like, so let's say we're both level.
No,
let's
it's by rank always.
It's by rank always, and only by rank.
Yeah. The progression of the heroes really doesn't have anything to do with anything other than rewards and cards.
Okay, got it. All right, so I was playing a guy yesterday, and it became clear by like turn 5, his deck was so ridiculously more overpowered than me. He had, I don't know how many legendaries or whatever. So, by like turn 6, he had like all these like dragons lined up with like 10, 15. And what I decided to do instead was, so he could have killed me. So what happened was I played a card. He was going to destroy me. He was going to do like 60 damage or whatever. And he didn't kill me. He kept putting out more cards. So at that point, I was like, okay, I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's toying with me or whatever. So I decided on my turn to take all my buff cards and buff him up. I was like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's make you as powerful as possible just for kicks and see how much you can actually destroy me. So I was like doubling his minions that were already doing like 30 damage, like 60 damage. And we kept going for like 8 more turns where he had just like a row of cards all doing like, plus 30, 40 damage. It was pretty hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were having a good time just watching me get destroyed, and then he finally killed me. I mean, it was only one loss no matter what. I was going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
So I figured we might as well just have some sort of nuclear blowout at my expense, just to see how.
I like that.
Anyway. So I did tell you guys last time we were all together that I was done monetizing, and you said you were going to check back in.
Yeah, how's that going?
Yeah, it didn't go.
You bought some cards, huh?
How many cards you buy? How many packs?
Well, actually, it was more arena. It was right after our last show together, and I just went through this whole like $2. I'm going back in. I'm going to do better this time, and I went through a series of that, and I probably spent like $20 in a weekend, and then I was done. But since then, I've paid about. I'll pay for an arena like once every 4 days or so. But they're getting, in general, like they're getting a lot of money out of me. I mean, all told, since this is launched on iPad, I've probably spent, it's not a lot, but let's say $50.
Yeah, but your game time played to amount spent ratio is probably still pretty good, huh?
It is good. It's really good. It's really good, and that's why I love the game. However, I've now spent as much or more than I would pay for a premium game, and I'm not nearly done. So I know in the end they're going to be getting hundreds of dollars out of me.
But I mean, if we look at every gameplay experience that we have in terms of, and I know that this isn't necessarily fair, but in terms of like, this is how much money I spent on this game, and this is how much I got out of it.
Right.
There are so many $60 games on my shelf over there that did not live up to the value of what I would expect. But I look at, other games, some of the mobile games I play where I'm like, yeah, I just spent $15 in this silly mobile game, but I've played it for 100 hours. So who
That's
cares?
So true. That's so true. And I really feel with arena in particular that to me it's like sitting down at a blackjack table, right? I mean, like I'm buying into this. I'm voluntarily sitting down in this competition that costs money, and the goal is actually to have a good time, right? You want to win, but in the end, like, okay, did I get to play arena for 2-3 hours for $2? That's totally worth my time.
Yeah,
that's worth $2.
Yep.
Cheaper than a movie. So so I'm still totally digging that game a lot.
That's great.
I've been traveling all over the place, and I've been busy on deadlines. So that game is perfect for all of that. By far, to me, that game has totally transformed my iPad 100%. I've almost forgotten about most other games, I have to say, on iPad. And in fact, most other applications, it's kind of my Hearthstone. Hearthstone and
That's
Netflix.
awesome. I bet you that app is pulling in some crazy stats in terms of time opened and dominating, and yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know people. A lot of people who don't play are sick of hearing about that game, but it's so damn good. It's so good.
It's just, this is the last thing I'll say on it, but to see the reach that the game has had outside of what it already had is amazing. You know, I see Polygon putting up beginners to Hearthstone articles. I see really? Touch Arcade, right, a mobile site, put up like, here's the best way to get gold in the game, and app, Pocket Gamer, and all those guys. I mean, a lot of different communities that you wouldn't expect to be producing Hearthstone content now are, and that just goes to show, like, no one is sitting there going, oh, well, I don't want to play it on iPad because it's not the same. It's like, it is the same, and it doesn't matter. So it's that part to me is so very interesting just to see, because it's literally like, I just can't imagine someone having just discovered the game when, like, I feel like it's been out for freaking 2 years now. I know it hasn't, but it's just sort of how it feels. But it's neat to see that happening.
It is, and the other thing I think is great in general is how many people now are playing a collectible card game and getting into them for the first time. I mean, this used to be super niche. It was niche even in the gaming community, and now this game is kind of blowing it out. And in a way, they've done this before, right? Blizzard did this with MMOs. That became, in the old days, EverQuest was considered a massive hit when they had like 200,000 subscribers. And WoW came along, of course, and we all know the story of WoW. They were just able to really take a what used to be, if you remember, like a very hardcore niche, and turn it into something that basically everybody could play. Yeah. And they did it again. And so people, I understand that there's Magic players and other players who are like, this is like baby Magic or whatever. But the better way to look at it is as like a gateway drug, right? Like a lot of people probably will go on from Hearthstone to Magic or to other games, right? Like it's people shouldn't feel like they dumb down the thing that we all know is much harder. And like, just be glad that more people are into the thing that you think is cool. Like, that's the awesome thing.
My last bit on digital trading card games as well is that I love the fact that with digital trading card games, you can sort of break the rules that have been established by traditional card games. And what I mean is this. If you take a game like SoulForge, where their mechanic is that each card technically levels up, there would be no way as a collector that I would be sitting there and opening packs going, oh, I hope I get the level 3 of this card so that I can actually use it. It's like, because it's a digital game, you earn one card, right? That card already has 3 levels behind it. So there's a lot of cool things that I think that the people making these cards are thinking about that. And we're already starting to see the crossover too. Pokemon, every pack that you get, every booster card, you can redeem the exact same thing online. So although it's sort of separate, they give you that opportunity. It's like, hey, you bought a physical good, automatically get digital good. Magic the Gathering Online has some similar mechanics in some regards, but that's really I'm excited to see where it goes. Of course, with Hex and other games, SoulForge doing well. But anyway.
SoulForge is doing well? Yeah, I've been meaning to check that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I think people's biggest complaint about SoulForge is they love the game, and I'm one of them. I love the mechanics of the game. It's really, really cool and interesting, but their client is rather clunky. And it's almost clunkier on the PC, so I prefer to play it on the iPad. Like, I've never played it on I played it once on the PC. I was like, yo, this doesn't feel right.
Okay.
So I think if they were to, like, Hearthstoneify their client, it would be like awesome.
Yeah, that's a easier said than done.
Of course it is. Like, of course it is.
Those are the best in the biz when it comes to Hearthstone shit. The animations in that are what make that game so good.
Folks in chat right now are talking about Hex getting sued by WotC.
Yeah, I saw that. They claimed that it was similar UI or something like that.
Oh, really?
I think similar UI to their online thing, I think is what it was. Which is kind of weird. I mean, Wizards of the Coast has always kind of been a little bit crazy when it comes to that type of stuff. And I mean, rightfully so. They're protecting their IP, obviously. But
I mean, Hasbro.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that alone, I don't even think you need to say anything other than that. Like, we're talking any sort of these toy companies are so.
Oh yeah, so litigious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Armies of lawyers.
Yeah.
Shit, I had one last thing to say. Oh, I know. It was a question about Hearthstone. Has Blizzard talked at all about doing physical versions of this game? I know that they had a former collectible card.
No, they still do. I mean, the game is loosely based. In fact, most of the art and the heroes and stuff all come from the trading card game.
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So that was just ignorance on my part. I knew that game existed, but I thought that was a whole separate experience. So it's really not. It is Hearthstone to some extent.
Yeah, I mean,
it
is, but it isn't. There's a lot of, I mean, there are some differences, and I can't claim to be an expert, Jeff, but
you
know, I think I played it like 3 times when it came out in 2005.
Yeah, I did too when it first came out. That's why I don't even remember it really.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember it being somewhat of a big investment, you know, at the time. So I don't know. Yeah, it was like 2008 or something.
Maybe ahead of its time.
Maybe, but it's been around long enough, and they've, you know, a lot of the cards and mechanics and what not, you know, went in there. So,
we can move on from that.
Yeah, can I jump on it because I know that we've all got some DS2, some Dark Souls 2.
I do feel like this should be publicized. Someone in the chat says that Army of Lawyers should be a card in Hex. I kind of like that.
Army of Lawyers.
And then put like a reference to Hasbro, and then be like, sue me. That would be good.
A cease and desist.
Yeah.
So I had some 2 really good gaming experiences this week, you guys, and I'll start with the ongoing Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 3. As you know, this is a 5-part game from Telltale, and they've just released Part 3. Part 4 comes out in July, and I think September is when the final part comes out. And I'll tell you what, man, this was, I mean, no spoilers, obviously, but this was definitely really in my opinion, in the game, the first time it was really less of a zombie story and more of a people story. You know, like
that's good.
And every
those
single,
were always the more interesting bits, I think.
Yeah, it's tough for them, right? Because they have to have the zombies to create a game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just watching cutscenes and making choices, which I would, in some cases, be okay with. But they seem to have pulled it off really, really well this episode, where there was not a whole lot of interaction and action, but what there was still significant, you know, to the story. So it definitely, in terms of like interactivity with the characters and everything, this was one of the weakest. But this was also one of the darkest episodes of The Walking Dead that has come out.
Well, that's saying something.
They are certainly coming, you know, into their own with this series, and it really mimics the tone and the thought process and the comics and even the show and some of the other lore that is spinned off. And if you've never played the Walking Dead game, like every single time another episode comes out, it seems like they're just giving people another reason why, if they haven't gone back and played through the first all the way to where they're at now. The way that they're sort of connecting the dots with the characters, and they just, damn it, like, how do they get you so attached to 3D avatars and people and like feel like, oh my God, how do I make this decision that's been put in front of me? These guys are masters. Like, I wonder if Telltale will ever make a game that doesn't just follow their formula, because they're goddamn good at it, you know? And I don't know that anyone can really copy them. Even though they, of course, followed the footsteps and examples of many before them.
Sure.
But they've just kind of like nailed that narrative, interactive storytelling in such a remarkable way.
And it's taken them a while too, right? I mean, before this, they've made other games, and some have been good, some have been okay, and some have not been so good. So I really feel like
they had a couple of games before Walking Dead was huge. So
They did, and I feel like this is just so superior to everything they've done before. It's like they basically like took all the lessons they've learned over the years and just like full on applied them to Walking Dead.
Yeah,
it's so good. Though I have to say I haven't played past season 1. I thought I heard that season 2 was not as good, but
that's what I was hearing is that it's
DJ
not.
it doesn't sound that way.
I mean, the reason why season 1 is so good is because 99% of the story are about Lee and Clementine.
Yeah.
The story shifts and takes a different direction in 2. And so, you know, I think it has to play out before anyone can truly make a comparison between the two.
That's true.
Right? And
Right.
without, I think it's pretty easy to say that there will be a season 3. In fact, this is, and I think that they might go on until people are just fucking sick of zombies and werewolves are the next thing, you know? Like, I think that's just how long it's going to go, with them coming out with the Game of Thrones and the Wolf Among Us being really good. Like, yeah, they've had some stinkers. You know, Jurassic Park wasn't incredible. Back to the Future was pretty decent. They've got the Tales from the Borderland, but I think that people should just be patient and let the episode play out.
Sure.
Because no one, even in episode 3 of the first season, would have told you how epic it was going to be because they hadn't played through it, right? These guys know what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, you know, that's the same kind of complaint that people made about about the books, Game of Thrones, when he started going off on different tangents with new characters. And, you know, people were just like, who are all these new people? I know, get back to the main thing. But you know that, obviously, that he has, he was prepared to tie it all up, to, you know, eventually, that we just had to be patient.
Yeah. I need to still, so they released episode 3. They still got 2 more to go?
Yeah, September is when you'll be able to play the whole thing, JP.
Jesus. Yeah.
The
I didn't play the
episodes
first
have
one
been
until they were all out.
They've been
Or
shorter,
no, I played
though.
it till 4. Oh, they're getting shorter, really?
I feel like
They're still not like a 3 to 4 hour experience each?
hour half this one.
Whoa.
But at the end, I wasn't sad.
Okay.
Right,
They dropped
like-
a cliffhanger or something like that?
Their
They did what
storytelling
Telltale
pace
does,
is
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to. And then what is Wolf Among Us is on episode 3 or 4? They're on
3.
4, right?
They're about to
Oh.
release 4, yeah. I
Okay.
think. I'm pretty sure.
I've been hearing a lot of good things that people are even enjoying that more so than The Walking Dead season 2. So
It's pretty
I'll probably
great.
play that first. Obviously, it'll be done first. So I will play that first. But yeah, I can't deal with the cliffhangers, and I say that in the most fucked up way because I cliffhanger people all the time with role play episodes. So I understand what makes a good cliffhanger, and I
You're
hate
such
being
a
cliffhangered.
bastard, JP.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the show that I was watching last night was 24. So like, of course, there's a cliffhanger every fucking hour of that
course
show.
it is.
Yeah.
Wait, this is the new 24.
Yeah.
No, you can't tell me. I'm like, I've only watched 1 hour of it.
Okay.
Is it good?
It's more 24.
Which means that it's fucking amazing,
It's pretty good.
Jeff.
I'm pretty.
Don't
like, I
talk
didn't
bad about
watch-
Jack Bauer, JP.
I didn't watch all the episodes or all the seasons. I think I got up to the season where they have a. Which season was it where there's the bomb in LA and it's like the
I believe that
It's
is
the-
season
it
7.
was 3 or no, it was season 3 or 4, I think. Or maybe I skipped ahead and just said like fuck all these other seasons.
Yeah,
with
you
the
probably
final
did.
season. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably did. That's
that
the one
show
where he
is just so
stops.
funny.
Well, he doesn't really stop an EMP with his back, but like as this EMP is going off, he just like buckles down and gets up against the back of it, and we are always laughing like, dude, Jack Bauer is so badass that he can fucking stop an EMP with his back. Like that's it's just so fun. I love
show is
Jack
so
Bauer.
ridiculous.
It's
I do
so
like that they've-
good.
I like that they've sort of embraced over the years, like that he's nearly a superpower. You know.
Oh
super-
yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah.
like at
That's how
at
they
first
introduced them,
it was.
too. Like,
Did they originally in season 1, or you mean in
well,
the
not
new?
not in season 1, but I just like in
Okay.
all the episodes, and even in this season, like the way it's so dumb because they're just like, why didn't he do this? He's Jack Bauer. He would do this. He wants to be caught. No, and I'm just like, God damn it.
Oh my God,
24.
JP, you shut your mouth right now. It's so good. It's so
man,
good.
it's so
JP,
fun.
you know what? I want you to watch The 100 because it's so bad it's good. It's just
Yeah.
like that. It's
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, can I talk about before we talk about Dark Souls?
Sure.
The Outlast DLC Whistleblower came out, and as you
Oh,
both know, the Outlast was one of my games of the year last year.
yep.
And let me tell you, it is fucking fantastic. Like they could have
I've watched it,
charged.
played now twice.
Yeah?
So I know a lot about it. Yeah.
They could have charged me $20 for this, and I would have been totally happy with it. Of course, I'm the
Wow.
guy that they could have charged me $50 for it, and I would have probably still been like, yeah, that was. But I'm posting. I just posted part 1. Part 2 is coming out today. I played it on my birthday. I played through it in probably 3 hours max. So it's about a third, maybe a fourth of the original game. But they do a nice mix of revisiting a very few select areas from the first game. It kind of plays into the original game as well. But you guys, I've consumed a lot of horror in my life, from comics to movies to books, and you know, I am one of these guys who likes to get scared, and you know, I pretty much, when it comes to movies and whatnot, I've been desensitized to a lot of what I see. It's more, I'm like, wow, how did they pull that effect off, or that, you know, like that's why I watch these movies a lot of time, and
Sure.
I still enjoy the storytelling. But when you play these types of games, for me, there's still like a very intense connection that has happened there, where like I can immerse myself completely into, you know, into situations and scenarios like that. Never in a million years have I experienced what I experienced Monday night on Outlast, where at one point in the game, there was something that happened and associated action on the screen that actually made me feel like I was physically touched. Like there, and I can't even explain what even the event is in the game, but it's just sort of so sudden in the way that they're building the atmosphere. Like I felt like I actually was pushed. I was so immersed into this game.
Wow.
And the look of terror on my face, I went back and I watched that part, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was actually that scared. These
Wow.
guys are geniuses.
They're
I
pretty
gotta
good
play
about
this.
it.
I will say
It's pretty scary, Jeff. I have a friend who's just like the most chill person. Like, he doesn't freak out. He rarely shows a ton of emotion. And he played Outlast on stream, and he absolutely hates horror games.
Yeah.
There's a particular moment in the game. It's some jump scare or something, and
Yeah.
I've never heard a sound more like primal and like
from
scared
who?
from Ryan
Oh.
Moore from Roleplay, like more primal and more just like fuck this shit than I did when watching his playthrough of this game. Like, he was just floored. He was so fucking scared about.
Did he
what just
not play
happened
the
on
first game then?
He played Outlast. He didn't play the expansion.
Okay. Oh,
I don't know if he
okay.
beat the first game. He absolutely, he even one-upped it himself, or one-upped it, and where anytime he would get a donation for the top donator, he would just have like a really bad I think it was like some female scream anytime someone would donate to him, and it would be the top donator. So anytime someone would do like $3, it would scream, and then 301, it would scream, 302, et cetera, et cetera. And then his viewers were just trolling him at that point, to where that was the scary part and not the game, because he was just waiting for
Yeah.
this fucking scream to
the chat was sort of trying to convince me to do that, and it kind of came to a complete halt when someone was like, use the Wilhelm scream. And then I like looked it up, and I mean, you guys have heard it. It's the scream that they use in movies and stuff.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
But by itself, like standalone, it's actually one of the most hilarious sounding things
Oh, it's
you'd
pretty-
ever
yeah,
hear.
it's
And
pretty
so
funny.
I was like, guys, if I play that, I will just start laughing every time. I'm like, I'm not going to break. I'm not going to break how it is. This is too good. So I just went with it. But I tell you what, some people don't necessarily like to be scared, and I understand that. This game isn't for everyone. But I'll tell you what, Outlast Whistleblower was like right up my alley. I wish that there was a new one from these guys every other week. I know I've said that before, but God, it's just they're fantastic.
I got to buy this game. I forgot that they put it on sale a little while ago. I think I missed the sale. They were selling it super cheap because I've never played it. But you're convincing me. I think I'm just going to pay full price and buy it.
It's pretty good
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like right now the DLC is only $8.99, so you could probably get the whole thing for like $30. I'm
Right.
guessing.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I wonder, are you guys psyched for Alien Isolation? Just speaking of scary games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we want good Alien. It's like the one sort of franchise that sort of escaped the hands of gamers. So yeah.
It seems so ideal for a horror game, and yet the previous Alien games have just like not done it.
No.
You know.
No, they have not. So yes, play
kinda rough to
Outlast.
Play Outlast.
Play
All right.
Outlast.
I hear ya.
An incredible experience. Definitely, the DLC is way more hardcore than the first game.
Well, I feel like a better way to say that is the imagery and what goes on is like crazy levels of torture porn. That is what I got from the DLC.
Really?
Yeah. Like some Hostel 2 type fucking torture porn. Like really intense torture porn is what I pulled away from that.
All right.
So much levels of torture porn where I'm just like, yep, fuck this. Tell me when it's over.
Like, and keep in mind, like the DLC is kind of like leading up and then during what happens in the first game. So you're in the first game, you're sort of like walking through some of the stuff that like happened, you know, and there's not a whole lot of direct correlation. But anyway, I won't say anymore. It's great.
Yeah.
I just bought it.
There you go.
Bought Outlast.
There you go.
Yes.
The second one is shorter, so I feel like they can do more to the character than they could in the main game because they have what was it, like 2.5 hours or 3 hours, so they can fuck with the character more in that amount of time. Rather in the main game, they didn't really fuck with the character that much. It was just like you're always constantly running. Although towards the end, they definitely do have some moments.
I would agree with that, JP. I think that's actually a pretty good observation. And that might have made it better just because the intensity of the game was like always
it was
on.
always on.
Like always
Yeah,
on.
always
on.
Where like you have these breathing points in Outlast where it'd be like, okay, you know, things are going to settle down for a moment. I have to like find a key.
The one thing that does break those games for me, in my experiences when playing them and also watching people play them, is when you die, it immediately kills all the scariness because you know what's going to happen for the next 5 minutes after you die.
Huh.
I guess once you get past that point of death, then you're fine because it's all new. But it's like when you die, it takes all of that away. So I feel like if I ever played it, I think there's, what is it, nightmare difficulty, where once you die, you're dead for good. You can't reload.
Yeah, it's the insane difficulty, and that was when people were upset at me that I didn't play on a harder difficulty. But that's like exactly the reason. It's there. I know that it sounds weird because I'm not suggesting that people need to make games that you don't fail. But another example is actually in The Walking Dead. There was this moment where I was trying to escape from a zombie, and the prompt was a little bit misleading, where it's like press A to move in this direction. But like the game would actually stop you from holding A down, so you had to hold it again. Anyway, when it happened, my character died, and then I was like, oh, well, that sucks. It just knocked all the wind out of like that scene. So I do agree with JP. That's one of the reasons why I'd rather play it on normal, because, you know, typically a death is like you made a really dumb wrong turn, or you like backed yourself into a corner and you're screwed. It plays out much better and more suspenseful if you never die, which sounds really weird, but it definitely does. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if you haven't played Outlast,
I don't know.
No,
well, now I'm going to play it.
You're gonna
Well,
play
I
it.
was going to say I've gotten over
Oh, Jeff, you're hold on a second. You're breaking up a little bit. Jeff.
Skype is being Skype.
Oh, Sorry, Robot Jeff. We didn't get it. I think he probably dropped JP.
Did he finally drop?
That sounds like I finally dropped. Either that, or it's just gonna like correct itself. And,
there it is. It corrected.
Oh.
Well,
maybe
for a split second.
What?
We got the look.
And then we get
we get the look at this
oh my
like,
god, what's happening?
Now he dropped.
Okay,
Poor guy.
He did drop. All right, Jeff will be back. I'm sure.
Sure.
In just a moment.
Here we go. Okay, I was looking for this. I'm gonna link this Ryzilla video.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can show a Twitch stream in.
Oh yeah, he probably is. Yeah, pause the Outlast.
Oh,
I
you
bet,
probably
dude,
started downloading.
Steam will actually.
It'll just destroy your net.
It will destroy you. Yeah. Hey, Jeff.
Hi. Sorry about that.
Did you pause your download?
What
I think Steam.
no, I wasn't downloading.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I had it set to not do that so that wouldn't happen.
Okay. And now JP has
Weird.
stoic
Okay.
frozen cam as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, let's just leave it that way.
Okay.
Then.
What we've been playing this week is what we're currently doing on 8-bits. We've gone through a few games, and JP, you have one on here before we go to Dark Souls 2. You wanna make a comment on Dragon Age Origins?
Yeah. First off, why the fuck am I playing Dragon Age Origins? Probably the best way to go into that.
Yeah. Well,
it was on sale last week on Steam. The ultimate complete package or some shit on Steam. It was $7.50 for the original game, Awakening, and then like 9 DLCs or something. So like everything Dragon Age Origins. And so I was like, yeah, okay. I played it to, I don't know, I probably played like 5 or 6 hours when I played it through the first time, and I never went back to it. I don't know if something else came out or what happened, but I enjoyed my time with it, so I went and played with it. I'm actually enjoying it. The game's pretty good. I'm playing it on hard, and it's actually still kind of easy. And I don't know if that's just because like I have a good build, or if the game just hasn't ramped up the difficulty yet. I just got into. I just finished like the intro, and now I'm in the mage tower, the circle of whatever the fuck that's called,
like
circle of mages.
Isn't that like
the story like breaks open to where you can go do everything.
Right.
And so I went.
Yeah,
to
and it's
the,
like
the
4
mage tower.
4 or 5 hours, or maybe even more. Yeah.
It might be a little
But
bit more.
I think you're still like Dragon Age, pretty long game, dude. I think you'll get.
Oh, I know. It's like a 60 plus or a 40 plus hour game.
You'll find that difficulty, dude.
I'm hoping so.
You will, bro.
I've thought about bumping it up to the hardest difficulty, but I'm not there yet. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I didn't realize that this game was so beloved by like everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. What were you gonna ask?
I was gonna ask, like, are there any like graphical upgrades in this edition that's been released, or is it just the content that make it an ultimate edition?
I think it's just the content that makes it like the ultimate edition. The game looks pretty good, but it still looks like a game that came out in like 2009 or 2008 or something like that.
Right.
There's high-res texture packs and mods. There's a billion mods for this game that you can download. But I'm just playing through vanilla for the first time. And plus, I don't want to sit there and like mess with a single file to make my armor look more spectacular.
With the content packs, do they add the quests to like the main line, or are these all just separate ones that you do?
I haven't looked exactly. I haven't been seeking them out, but I remember seeing in the quest, the journal, I think is what they call it in the game, like any other game. There is like I don't think they call it DLC quest, but there's something to that effect at the bottom, where it does have all of the quests there that are related to the DLC. But some of the stuff in the game I've never seen, like these golems that you just showed, that looks fucking great. Like I want to see more of that stuff.
I don't remember that. Oh yeah,
that's part of the DLC.
Oh, that is part of the DLC.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess at the time.
I think I only finished the mage tower or whatever, and that's all that I did. I got to like after that I went to the dwarven area, and then I stopped back in the day. So I'm still looking forward to that. I'll definitely be playing that over the next at least month, because there's so much to play in that game.
So what?
And I got to figure out what party.
What are you playing?
Class wise?
Yeah.
I made a dwarf noble who is a two-handed warrior. I went female dwarf because it's always funny going female dwarf. Um, a lot of people are just saying go mage, but I feel like that's what everyone does. So I didn't go mage. They're also like one of the more broken characters later on, from what I can remember, where mages are just like super strong in that game. I'm having a good time with it. The story is not spectacular, but what they did that is really good with the game is actually make the environment and all the side stories and that world like believable in that sense, and that's why I enjoy it so much, because it is like a whole nother fantasy world when there's already so many out there. It's pretty cool that they were able to create a world that I am interested in on that level.
Well, BioWare, I mean, that's their thing, right?
That's their thing, yeah. That's what they do.
They've always been great at it, right from the very beginning. Don't even have to recite the examples. We all know what they are. Yeah. And of course, when they originally pitched this game, before they even started working on it, in their own heads, they called it the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. That's really what they wanted to do after they no longer had the license at that point.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So, is there any hidden sort of JP initiative to do all this because of the upcoming? Isn't it like later on this year? Dragon Age Inquisition.
Maybe in the back of my mind, possibly. That's why I played it, but not really. In fact, that trailer came out and I watched probably 30 seconds. I was like, okay. It's just a CG trailer. Like, I don't fucking care. Let's just close it. But I don't know. I think there's this week, especially, and maybe a little bit of last week, there was kind of a lull in what's coming out. Next week, we finally got some big games coming out with Wolfenstein and Transistor coming out on Tuesday as well. The people.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The Backseat people, their next game, which is super fun. And I've heard pretty good things about both of them, and so I just wanted something to buy my time until then, and it was $750 for like this huge game package of like 100+ hours, which is like, I'm in. I'm totally
that
in.
Is a deal.
And I think it's usually $20 before that, so even then it's like still a fucking great deal for what you're getting if you don't mind playing a little bit older game. But I'm really looking forward to next week with the games coming out.
I never played 2. I was scared off of it. So I never bothered.
2 for about an hour and a half, and I was so turned off. I was so turned off. It just, I don't know.
Inquisition looks awesome.
It does. It does
look good. Yeah.
It looks freaking amazing.
I hope a lot of those graphics, like especially with what's going on recently in terms of Watch Dogs and all that nonsense, like I hope that game actually looks as good as the screenshots in motion, because it looks awesome. It looks really good graphically.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about when Watch Dog comes out.
Oh yeah, and we'll get to that in the news, but man, that sucks. Like, it sucks so hard for a game that's struggled so much like that the first thing that people are going to talk about is what it looks like, and not if the game's actually worth a shit. So, but yeah, apart from Dragon Age 2, all I've been playing is pretty much Dark Souls. I'll log in every now and then to Arcade and do a little bit of PvP, because it reminds me of. And I've said this before on the cast, but it reminds me a little bit of the. Did I say Arcade or Dark Age?
You said Arcade.
Okay, I meant Arcade, but it reminds me of Dark Age of Camelot, in the sense that back then one of my alt characters was a ranger, which is like you would have a bunch of like 1v1 duels when it comes to stealthers and whatnot. And in the particular place where I have my character logged out, I can log in and get those instantly, and then just log out and not have. I like being able to just hop in real quick, kill a bunch of guys in a couple of 1v1 or 1v2 fights, have a good time, and then log out real quick. Apart from that, I'm not doing too much in that game because it's alpha and my character is pretty far advanced. I'm already cap level, but I could be doing more with crafting and all the other shit in that game that you can do at max level, but I'm just not because I'm waiting for launch. So
you're at max level already?
Yeah, I hit max level and in 4 days. I played a lot.
Baller.
Damn.
Played a lot, yeah. The game's good, though. I'm a terrible MMO fiend, Jeff. I have 1190s in WoW, and like you don't want to talk to me about MMOs, man.
I thought I knew you. I don't know you at all.
It's
1190s.
It's a dark time for me, and yeah, I'll just load up WoW and be like, yeah, let's level a character today. Then I'll just get them to like 60 plus because I'm stupid like that. I'll start multi-boxing, and man, it's a dark path.
Do you go like on? Do you party up with yourself then?
Oh yeah.
It might be time for the intervention.
It might.
Oh, it's been time. Jeff, I'm 27. I've been playing since I was like 24. It's been time for a long time, Jeff. I'm still waiting for it. But yeah, just Dark Souls, and I'll be playing more Dark Souls today. That game is, I'm way past where I was on the PS3, and there are still environments in that game that blow me away.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck, that game is so gorgeous. So fucking good looking.
Can I take like 30 seconds to just actually deliver a personal fuck you to this guy on Twitter who, you know, I've gotten so good while streaming to the point where like my eye filter is great, and a lot of times I will just sort of disregard chat when I'm playing through, especially if I'm sort of trying to figure out what my next step is going to be. Of course, everyone has their own opinion on how to play this game, but you know, like there's some things, right? So I got to, and I won't spoil it for anyone else, but I got to this boss where a series of actions could potentially make the fight easier. And so, you know, I'm like,
is this where you ended the other day when we were streaming?
So I'm like,
that happened to you too? That's what happened to me.
Dude, so, you know, this also happens to be like on my birthday, you know, so I might read a lot of people, hey, happy birthday week, blah, blah, blah. And then one douchebag Twitstein, a spoiler guy, is like, hey, man, all you need to know is blah, blah, blah. And like, of course, as I'm like fast reading through my tweet, there was no way for me to avoid that shit.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like I've been cheated a little bit out of that portion of the game.
To me too.
Man.
I was walking around for like 20 minutes 2 weeks ago. And it wasn't even it wasn't even like, oh, you need to go do this, good sir JP bow. It was, hey, fat ass, go do this. And I was just like,
plot twist. It was probably
serious?
the same guy, right?
Probably.
Like, he gets his satisfaction. Anyway, I want to say thank you.
Real bad. I ended the stream.
The chat has been phenomenal. Right, like you guys have been great. Thank you for letting me experience a non-backseat gaming. When I have had questions related to mechanics or anything, you've been there to help. But this one guy, man, big old F you to him. That was just like he snuck that in there, and I was so angry. I was like, why can't I just actually Control Z the last 15 seconds? And
I don't understand the motivation. I really don't.
I don't think that. Well, you know, as a backseat aficionado and a studier of their kind for about 6 months now, I absolutely hate backseat gaming. I think it's one of the worst things in the fucking world. Everyone that watches my streams know this. I think what it is that person is trying to prove their something. Prove that they know more about the game than you and than everyone else. And by doing that, they want to influence you to do something and get past because they want to keep seeing you playing. So they're definitely fans of you, right? And they want to see you do more stuff, but they do it in the worst way possible by spoiling the experience, not only for you, but for everyone else on the stream. Because in a game like Dark Souls, half the fun is figuring shit out and dying in the process. The second someone tells you, well, you got to go do this to get to, you got to go do X to get to Y.
Yeah.
Then it's like, all right, you just ruined like 30 minutes of exploration for me and 30 minutes of like probably me dying in really hilarious ways trying to figure shit out for the stream.
Right.
So it doesn't work for anyone. Like, it's a bad thing for everyone.
Yeah, that's been one of the ongoing things for me on my Dark Souls live stream. That I still, through Dark Souls 1 and now Dark Souls 2, I'm still trying to really get my head around is people just sit in chat and they're telling me exactly where to go all the time. And of course, in that game, you know, it is easy to get lost, and especially if you have no sense of direction like me. Like, I spend a lot of time getting lost. But I know that a lot of people are watching just to watch that, watch me like fail repeatedly. But then, you know, like just today there were YouTube comments where on the latest video where people were addressing that very point and saying, yeah, no, you know what, dude? Listen to those people, because it's so boring watching you just get lost repeatedly. So some people,
and that's the weirdest comment too. When people come into a stream, they're like, "This is so boring," and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" Like, I read the comment and think, "Oh shit, maybe I'm boring," and then my actual intellectual part of the brain comes in. It's like, why the fuck is this guy watching something he's bored with? Like, go fucking do something else.
Well, that's how I feel, basically. Like, you know, right, this is not a government-sanctioned live stream. Just leave. Yeah. You know, no one forces us, you know. There's no gun to your head here. But also, it's like, if you just want to, you know, watch me get a walkthrough of the game, I don't really see what the fun of that is. Yeah. I mean, occasionally, definitely, there have been times where I've been so stuck or wherever, or I have a question, like, how come this thing isn't doing this thing or whatever? And you know, so sometimes I'm actually asking, but I really do want the experience to be more of discovery, right? Yeah. And I think that's what probably most people get off on, I would think, is like, oh, look what's about to happen to this guy, you know?
It's like a general rule that most people can follow is that, like, when streamers want to find something out, they will just ask.
They will address the
like,
chat.
I will
Most
be like, hey, chat, how, like, why is this happening? What is this? Does anyone know exactly what this stat does? Then it's like, yeah, you know, if they don't, you know.
Someone in chat just had a great comment. They said, have you ever watched a sports event on TV and told the players on TV what to do? Backseating is pretty normal. That's so true, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, any sporting event I ever watch, I'm like, why didn't you take that shot? You know, like I would take the shot, you know, but it's easy enough for us to do that constantly while we're watching people play.
Oh, right. No, it's something that's in everyday life for everyone. Like, even I'll go into a stream in the like watching someone have a hard time with something. I immediately want to be like, oh, you got to go do this, or I'll drop a subtle hint like, here we go, or something like that in the chat. And I stop myself because then I realize that I'm just fucking being a hypocrite and doing exactly what I yell people about.
Yeah.
So it's definitely rough, and I'm a person that has a very liberal time calling people a backseat gamer. I do it on multiple different reasons.
It's like your go-to.
Yeah. Like, if someone just says something about like a peanut butter sandwich that I don't like, I'm just like, fuck you, you backseat gaming piece of shit. They're like, what? What are you talking about? So
I've also found too that, like, if I ask, like, asking doesn't really get me anywhere either. Like, I used to do that. I stopped doing it a while ago, but I used to ask when I would go to level up. I would ask, oh, so what should I put a point in? And now it's hilarious because everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Welcome. Yeah, you opened the floodgates at that point.
Right. There's just no point in asking.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else.
Dark Souls 2 is awesome. It is. You guys are going to be blown away with the later. By the way, are you guys using just the default graphics? Are you using any mods or anything?
Not me.
Nah, the mods were fucking with my shit, dude. I couldn't get it to go.
I'm downscaling from 4K resolution, and holy fuck, man, there's scenes in that game or backdrops or I guess you almost can call them world zones that are just like breathtaking, that are fucking amazing. I just got into one that I'm excited to go back to today, where it looks fucking amazing. Like, I cannot wait to get back into it today.
Yeah, I've really warmed up to the graphics. My gut reaction when I first booted it up was I was disappointed. I'll just say it right out, because it seemed less kind of dark fantasy, like gothic, which is what I was used to. It seemed like too colorful for what I wanted out of this world. But
it gets grim.
It does get grim, and I've kind of forgotten that. Like, I'm early on. I'm in what's it called? Hades Tower of Flame. I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
I've been calling it Heidi. But that whole, outdoor area though is very beautiful. The whole coastline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, and Majula too. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've warmed. Yeah, I'm talking about a little later, but I've warmed up to the look of the game. It's just different.
Yeah.
Should we take a break and then go on to some news?
Yeah, we got a lot of news to talk about, or at least
we did.
big news items.
Big news items. Some interesting stuff for sure. All right, we'll take a quick break, you guys, and we come back. We've got our second hour of 8 bits and more video game discussion coming at you. Don't go away. We'll be right back.